Try to imagine going home tonight after your classes or a long job, pulling into your parking spot and opening your door to discover your refrigerator is empty. Your younger siblings or child's shoes no longer fit or are completely worn out. And your bank account can't even cover both next week's groceries and rent. So either your family goes hungry or you lose the roof over your head. For thousands of families across Florida and Georgia, that is not just something to imagine. This is the daily reality. But we can help prevent this from happening anymore. As a student, it is quite easy to assume the fight happens somewhere far away from us, as we assume many awful things only happen far away from where we can help. But many of these families live only a few miles from our campus, or perhaps even sit next to us in classes. The problem is that community help often never reaches the people who need it most. Today, we will look at the reality of poverty in our communities, how not supported or shared resources fail our people, and how a small personal change and commitment to active local support systems can build a much more sustainable safety net for everyone in our communities, especially those who need it most. First, we will look at why this is such a big problem in our communities, and the actual size of this. So many families have or are experiencing poverty, literally trapped within a space where they work full-time, but still can't make ends meet, or have access to basic necessities. People often assume poverty only looks like absolute homelessness on the streets, but financial difficulty is right in our local communities, even in the CCGA coastal economy. The United for Alice group reported for Duval County, not too far away from our campus and where some CCGA students live. ALICE is an acronym for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. Households that earn more than the federal poverty level, but less than the basic living for the county. While conditions have improved for some households, many continue to struggle, especially as wages fail to pace with the rising cost of essentials. For those of us going to the CCGA from Southeast Georgia or North Florida, we see these families every day. They literally work around us in our local shops, restaurants, schools, hospitals. Yet they can't afford the very necessary daily essentials for basic living. Someone close to you could be experiencing these problems, and you might not even know. As a report from First Coast News regarding nearby Northeast Florida communities, food costs and housing costs have continued to go up at a pace that's much faster than incomes. Food insecure households have difficulty at some time during the year providing enough food for all their members because of a lack of resources. The reality of who is falling into this trap is deviating away from traditional stereotypes and moving right into working class. Duval's First Coast News video said, "There's a big shift now in folks that are entering homelessness, what we consider to be a crisis, poverty, or your working class folks who just can't afford rental rates. A much bigger, different demographic now, because they can't afford the rental rates, specifically impacting groups like single women, seniors, families, and people who never experienced homelessness before. Leaving this problem not addressed severely damages both physical and mental public health within our coastal communities. Of all this deprivation can completely fracture many people's mental well-beings, creating a crisis. Food insecurity is associated with a 257% increase of anxiety and 253% of depression. Now that we know the serious effects this problem has on our community, we must now ask, how can we begin to fix it? The solution to this poverty is to actively build and reinforce as much as we each personally can the interconnected local community support systems. Government aid often really restricts, leaving many people to navigate really difficult red tape. We must close the big divide by mobilizing everyday citizens, including us as college students, to bring together existing resources that are within our communities. Compassionate communities apply a population health theory of practice wherein citizens are mobilized along with health and social support systems, holistically address the needs of persons experiencing vulnerabilities. When local nonprofits and citizens actually actively communicate, the community's capacity to help grows exponentially. The 2022 research on coordinated networks published in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health said, research has demonstrated the importance of coalition building and community organizing, and its potential to address equitable access to food, ultimately improving population health outcomes. I personally seen so many people experience all of this, and it isn't just a theory. Earlier this year, my husband and I started Robin's Quest, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping low-income and homeless. obtain necessities such as clothing, shoes, groceries, and household items. Creating this organization showed me a lot of important things. Many local families really want and need help to get out of these ruts they are in, but they often never find each other because the local network isn't strong enough. This is the exact reason why so many shelters are feeling an unusual squeeze. The First Coast News said the Scratchbatcher Center is actually asking for the city of Jacksonville to help in adding 34 more beds specifically for women to their center, because homeless rates are slightly up from last year, especially in key demographics, single women. If more people connect each other to these resources, it really wouldn't be as big of a problem. With a more obvious solution in front of us, let's visualize what our community would look like depending on the choice we make next. Imagine a community, wherever it may be, for where you live, here in the Golden Isles or in Duval County, where a single parent facing an empty fridge doesn't fall into an awful spiral of anxiety and helplessness. But instead, because of an amazing encompassing local resource loop, they are immediately connected to a nearby neighborhood pantry, resources, or citizen network. When evaluating citizen collaborations, BMC Public Health Study revealed that the program acts as a safety net that supports people who are falling through the cracks of the formal care system. The little things often have the biggest impact. By choosing to step up, do one simple gesture of kindness, and help, our collective actions as Mariners can form that missing safety net right here. But if we choose to remain passive and assume someone else will fix it, it will never be solved. The consequences will worsen. Local families will continue to fall through the cracks. Parental anxiety and depression rates will rise. And local resources that are there for them will sit completely unused, go without basic school supplies or proper meals right where we live, or go to college. To make sure that we bring about the brighter positive visualization of our community and it becomes a reality, we must take the final step from visualization to actual action. Change does not require you to solve national poverty overnight, but it does demand that you act within your community right outside your door. You have the power to live that out today. I made a challenge checklist that you can do before tomorrow evening. I challenge each of you to choose one step from this list. And here it is. Follow a local rooted nonprofit organization like Robin's Quest, local food banks, or shelter on social media. It only takes a simple internet search to find some. Share a nonprofit or local food bank's resources, like its calendar, online so a struggling family in our area might see it and get the help that they need. Donate something useful, like one box of food or a pair of gently used shoes or clothes, to a local shelter or drive. Or sign up to volunteer for just 1 hour in our community. One small act can go a long way, especially if all of us as a community combine and do it together as one big act. Poverty really thrives on isolation, but it shrinks when we build these much-needed connections. Small actions from many people create big, meaningful, lasting changes. Let's step out of this classroom and choose to strengthen our community's safety net. Thank you.